friends, welcome. My name is Alessandra. Today we're going to be trying out some new prompts in Stable Diffusion. Since we've last recorded and shared a video, Stable Diffusion has released some updates which are supposed to be really big. They've expanded some of the sampling pool of images that they've been working in, refining some of the sampling methods, which are these here, and even added some more on. And if you don't know what this means, essentially we are using AI through Stable Diffusion, specifically through Automatic 1111 for this wonderful user interface, where we give the AI a prompt and it gives us images. So that's what we see, text to image. All right, makes sense? So in this example today, we are going to be trying out 3 different sampling methods. One, my Euler A, which is one of my go-to favorite ones because it has the most creative imagination, let's say, in producing images. We're going to be trying out DPM 2A, another one of their original sampling methods, which I used a little bit, and from my experience had a little bit more sporadic results. And then we're going to use one of the brand new sampling methods that are available, which is DPM SDE Karras. So what are we asking it to do today? Well, with the holidays upon us, I thought, let's try a holiday prompt. So I've asked the AI to give us an extravagant dining room decorated for Christmas with a large tree covered in dazzling jeweled ornaments and twinkling warm lights, a formally set dining room table, maximalist style interior design, professionally decorated with an elegant crystal chandelier decorated for Christmas. Now, if you've watched some of my other Stable Diffusion design prompt challenges that we've given this, whenever I ask you to do chandeliers, let alone decorated chandeliers, things get a little crazy. So I was like, let's put it in as a curveball because we already know historically that that can make things a little crazy. So what don't we want? This is kind of my go-to. If you're playing with Stable Diffusion, you recognize this as the negative box prompt. So this is what you are telling the AI to avoid. So we included things like cropped text, watermark, signature, logo, poorly drawn, bad art, ugly. And you can see that I put periods after some things are in parentheses. That just tells the AI, like, no, I really, really don't want anything with a logo on it. Or, one big change you might notice is the default width and height has been bumped up. So we were at like 516 by 516. Right now we're at 768 by 768, which is great. So we're still keeping that square resolution, but just making it a little bit higher. The batch count and batch size, that's just how many images we're producing. The CFG scale, this one here, 7 is kind of my go-to on that because the lower it goes, the crazier the image gets. And what I mean by that is this tells you can see how big the scale is here. So this is how much weight should the AI take into consideration of your prompt, right? And our sampling steps up here, which I did skip over, I left at 40 because that's my kind of go-to number that I found that after a certain, like, I think Euler A might even be one of those. Some of these sampling methods, after you get to 30, 40 steps, it stops really making any impact and it just takes longer to do. And essentially what the steps is how much is the AI finessing and, let's just say, handling your image and really going crazy. So today we're going to start off with Euler A and see what the results are. I'm going to react to these in real time and decide by the end which of the sampling methods were the most accurate to what we asked it to do and which ones were just crazy bananas. We're gonna see what the results are like because they all got the same prompt. It's just different samplers. Off the bat, I like that this kind of looks like somebody's real dining room. Very pretty. I do love the I guess we're calling these chair covers. I don't know. I like them. They're probably a little scratchy to sit against. Another beautiful room. If you just look at the room as a whole. Do we need the tree in the middle of the table? Probably not. Don't know what kind of trees these are. Some sort of tinsel-based tree, but it did get a chandelier in. This one is interesting. It kind of reminds me of like those winter Christmas fundraiser galas where you're buying a table, but you're not really buying a table. You're just buying a table so you can put your purse somewhere and say you donated money, but you're really walking around looking at the exhibits. Okay, this is actually pretty realistic. Sure, the table isn't perfectly finessed. This is interesting. there's a lot of room to be desired here, but I think keeping in mind what we saw in the fall for some like the fall wedding designs, these chairs actually look a lot better than what we saw in the fall. And I do like that, you know, I don't know what the sun is doing over here, but I do like that it put little extra details in that I didn't specifically request, but it understood that we're decorating for Christmas. Okay, there's a lot going on here that we're just going to ignore for now, but I love that it was like, we're going to make this room over the top and just put Christmas and sparkles everywhere. Oh, this is a very beautiful one. I would say this might be one of the better trees we've seen thus far. And truthfully, the table looks pretty great. Like if you don't look at the details, you just kind of take it in as it is. It actually is a very lovely table. Okay, this is interesting. We do have what I think are maybe multiple trees. We do have a chandelier. We got some extra Christmas tidbits. We'll call that a meh. Okay, now this, I don't know. Are these, do you guys think it's like LED lights around the chairs? Because I've not seen that before, but I'd love to know if you guys did. I'm not sure if this is a chandelier or a tree topper at this point, but we're gonna give this one a meh. It is well decorated. It's just not well rendered. This is pretty, and I like that it's trying to make a reflection in the mirror, I think. Okay. The chandelier is always tricky for these, the AI. Technical, realistic situations aside, I do like that it included a snowy, mountainy view, I guess. Like it clearly understands we're doing Christmas here in winter, and it's got more garland. The tree isn't terrible. I did say large tree, and I like that it put like a tree topper with a, I don't know, a projector on top. I did say large tree. I should probably try this again with just like a Christmas tree and see what happens. Just got a little crazy with like the extra tree, but I do like that it put maybe snowflake details on the wood ceiling. I don't know. And it's also interesting that it's okay, we're going to make a little nook over here and we're going to put a tree in it. So if it is going to make a double tree, I'm glad it made it look like the tree was supposed to be over there. Like if they're, you know, like you're in somebody's home and there was a nook there and they're like, nah, we're going to decorate it for Christmas for right now. I also like in this instance that loosely it dropped the traditional red, green, and gold, and it had red, silver, and like maybe apple green in here. And I like that combination. I think that's different and it's unique. Sure, the chandelier is not specifically what we had in mind, but that's okay. Okay, I can't tell if this is like rhinestone covered chairs, but I'm not mad about it. Like, especially if those are chair covers and you have to have them up year round. And the table, you know, if you don't look too closely at the exact water placement, or, you know, water glass placement, champagne glass placement, it's actually pretty nice. Chandelier, probably not supposed to be on top of the fireplace like that. Okay, this tree, definitely love. Very traditional-ish. You know, is it professionally decorated? No. But I like that the AI also was like, we're gonna put a very live fire over here. The table looks great. I can't tell if these are menus on the back. I hope they are. That's kind of cute. And I like that this little vignette over here with the fireplace has a cute little garland on it. And what I'm assuming is a mirror is reflecting the tree. So I will say that that's an improvement, because I know in the past, in the fall, when we asked it to do, you know, like maximalist fall interiors for like bedrooms or whatever, the mirrors were always like, you never knew what you're getting. I don't know. There's a lot here that I'm not crazy about. Ooh, it's going for reefs here. Okay. Oh, look at this. This is a big table it was trying to render. And this, oh my gosh, the chandelier. Oh, that took a second to notice. Wow. Okay, okay. Oh, wow, look at this room. Okay, so we got what I'm assuming it's trying to render like somebody's formal dining room, which I do like. I have a lot of questions about this like mirror. It's also a doorway. This drapes. I'm not mad about it. It's just, it's interesting. And that's why we do this, right? For like, could you imagine if you had a door, like these are big French doors here, you draped it, and then you're like, you know, we're going to get two of the same mirrors and put them on either side and just make it like extra big. I kind of like that actually. Like, sure, the room as a whole is a little crazy. But I do kind of like that concept. And that's kind of one of the fun things about AI is the pictures that it's generating. Sometimes it's really funny. Sometimes it's great. And sometimes it's inspirational. And there's a little bit of all of that in this room. I do like these garlands on the ceiling, because I would imagine in a room like this, you probably have like super fancy art or something on these walls where you might have more formal gallery lighting on them. So you would need something like these track lighting up there. So if you could decorate them for the holidays, that's kind of cool. This is an interesting room in general. We kind of have like black and brown drapery, and it's interesting. I don't know if it's intentional, but if we have black and brown here, it's interesting that we have like brown faux fur maybe covers on the chairs. I don't know. This is interesting. Okay. I'm not really sure I'm into all of this, but it is different. You know, it made a tree out of drapery, sort of. Okay, so that was Euler A. That's kind of our go-to. And if you go back and look at some of our fall, just everything that we did, I think, in the fall, wedding, home interior decor, all of that stuff, centerpieces, I think we did almost all of those in Euler A, because it's my favorite. This one, DPM 2A, I haven't used as often, but I've kind of enjoyed playing around with it a little bit lately, so I was like, let's see how this does. Okay, now right off the bat, I'm seeing that the picture isn't as crisp and clear. Now, it might just be this particular image. We'll see if that persists. But going back to what we just saw, I felt like the images were a little bit better rendered. It's a little out of focus, or a little off still too. I mean, besides like the literal skyscraper candlesticks, I guess. Okay, this one did get the winter scenic views at the windows as well. I'm not really seeing any chandeliers that stand out, or but it's just okay. Like, oh, all right. Well, that yeah, for the chandeliers here. Okay. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I'm seeing a lot of duplicate trees, like multiple of the trees. This one has a oh wow, look at that. Whew. I don't know. I know we're supposed to be looking for the chandeliers and the Christmas trees and stuff because that's what we asked it to do, but I'm getting so excited about the chairs it's rendering. 1, 2, 3, 4-ish trees in here. That's a lot. I don't feel like this okay. Besides, it looks like this tree is covered in maybe like a really fine black mesh. I do like this garland going around, but I can only assume are very, very heavy doors. None of the chandeliers are really like blowing me away. None of the trees are blowing me away. This table actually looks honestly pretty realistic. Like, not perfect, but it does look realistic. I really love these cylinder centerpieces, which I get there's probably a lot of images of because they're used so frequently in events because they're quite honestly just cheap for the most part. I do think it's interesting that we see here a magenta maybe-ish inspired room where like we see a little burgundy magenta on the chairs, the napkins, and then we see it on the tree. Fun fact, if you don't know already, the Pantone color of the year next year is a magenta pink color. I don't remember the exact name they're calling it. Off the bat, love what I'm assuming are red velvet drapes with this little light thin garland around it. I do like that. The tree looks all right. Not, if I could train the modelers and the samplers, whatever their input is, on David Christopher trees, we would do a lot better because David Christopher makes beautiful trees. And if you don't know who David Christopher is, you need to go look him up on YouTube. I think him and his wife have a YouTube channel. They're based out of, I want to say, Alabama. Super cute couple, and they have a store, and I get a lot of my actual Christmas decor from them, maybe because I love it. And he designs his own products. It's amazing. Well, this room. What? What are we doing here? Oh, the purple sparkle chairs. Yeah, we're not even really getting a chandelier in here. It just looks unfocused. It's really hard to tell. Yeah. It's not that they're terrible. They're just not as, like, granted, the Euler A set that we did first maybe aren't super perfect, but I feel like they're a little bit more crisp, a little bit more focused, and they look a little bit more polished, if that makes sense. Meh. This is probably the most normal-ish looking one we've seen so far. And technically, if you took out the obnoxious chandelier and tree, it would be a very beautiful room, especially if that was the dining room table. All right, well, we did get a big tree, which I suppose is why we have a lot of rooms with bigger ceilings. Although I don't feel like this particular set of images have as high of ceilings as the Euler A. I could be mistaken. But I'm seeing like chandeliers, but maybe not decorated chandeliers, or, in this instance, we're seeing like 1, 2, 3 trees. I mean, they're beautiful rooms, I guess, but they don't look, I don't know. I don't see any of these where I'm like, oh, wow, I need to save it. Okay, now this is interesting. The mirror is reflecting here. So that actually does look right. We know in the past that that's been a little crazy. Chandelier, table, okay. Digging the chairs though. Would like to know more about these chairs it's pulling references from. Okay, now this is beautiful. I like this. This is probably the most normal-ish, if that's even the right word, realistic looking from this lineup. Oh wow, okay. So we're done with the DPM 2A. I would say so far, based on our collection of requests that we asked the AI to do, they all gave extravagant dining rooms. They're all pretty much giving large trees, sometimes multiple trees. Did we do the dazzling jeweled ornaments? I don't think any of them so far have done that. Twinkling warm lights, nothing remarkable. They have been doing the formally set dining room table, maximal. Yeah, the chandelier decorated for Christmas, or the elegant crystal chandelier decorated for Christmas. I don't know if any of them crushed it. I would say that last set probably had less chandeliers that looked realistic. As far as the, we don't want watermarks, signature text, logos, etc., they are doing pretty good on that. I don't feel like any of the two methods so far have had a problem. So let's try this one. This one's probably the most random for me, so I'm excited to see what the graphics turn out to be. And when I say random, it's an unknown variable for me. I haven't used this one a lot. Okay, starting strong here. Starting strong. We got 3 trees, 2 chandeliers. Okay. I think these chairs are realistic. I have seen these types of chairs before. The table is, it's got a good foundation. Let's put it that way. We got 2 chandeliers not decorated here. No chandelier here, although I'm having a hard time looking at anything other than this table. Is that like all rhinestone encrusted? Could you imagine? I'll teach you to keep your elbows off the table though. Oh, it looks like this tree is like frozen in an icicle. I don't know. The chairs are pretty nice. It looks like, again, it really likes putting these accents on the chairs, so that's interesting. And I do like that it went ahead and was like, okay, we're still doing Christmas and we're putting tinsel garland up and around. And these rooms do feel a little bit more grand, kind of like the first model set, not the second model set. All right, chandelier, yes. Crystal, yes. Extravagant, yes. Is it covered in Christmas? No, not really, but that's okay. We got another 2 trees. Ooh, it's going for wreaths in this one. Now, these chairs do look more normal, I guess, in the sense that they're not covered in rhinestone or glitter or, gosh, so many weird things in here. I did get the chandelier. Again, not really decorated, but that's okay. Like, that's a hard one to do. Okay. It's interesting that it has the, like, exceptionally gold ornaments that really stand out. It's interesting to watch the color palettes develop. I think these are pillows it's trying to render on these chairs. And this looks probably the most realistic of this bunch so far, because to me this looks like maybe a country club banquet room or something like that. This is probably the exit door you're not supposed to be blocking, but I like that it included these kind of like garlandy swags over the room, even though they're not really attached to anything. I think you could probably get the gist and the inspiration from them. I do like that it included 2 tables, it looks like. So it's kind of more of like a Christmas party. And I think compositionally, this might be the best rendered one we've seen so far, because it has the one main tree. And yes, it does have the duplicate trees like we see here. But I think in this instance, or I like to think in this instance, that those trees were put there to specifically flank the big tree / door that's covering, even though they're not identical. I like where they're going with it, and I could definitely see this as an inspiration for somebody. Honestly, this might be one of the best looking rooms if the candles weren't. I don't think we've seen a single chandelier that we can be like, wow, this one turned out well. Oh, I like that this tried to do stockings though. And they tried to do some wreaths. Not terrible. Oh, okay, look at this. All right, well, there's a lot going on here. I don't really know where the AI was going with it, but it looks like some sparkly swag valances maybe, and it is large in height tree on the table. Not really the most functional, but that's besides the point. Compositionally, not the worst we've seen tonight. Okay, well, there's technically some sort of garland on this chandelier, but if you take the chandelier out, the rest of the room is very promising. Okay, we're seeing this again, this kind of like out of focus, maybe unfinished picture. So I don't know if it's a little irregular, it seems like, for this particular sampler. Oh my gosh, these chairs. It looks like they got LEDs in them. Okay. This looks like a very grand room with the ornate wood detailing, or I'm assuming this is wood up here. It's hard to tell. It's got a round table. Like, this might be, I mean, okay, sure, there's a few oddities here, but this is actually pretty nice. The tree looks a little rough, but we have a nice view out the window, and I like that it's mixing and matching still the color palettes for Christmas. So we see silver gold again here. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I was commenting that it didn't have any chandeliers with Christmas, and then it did this. So it just saved all the Christmas and put it in here. I don't love that it keeps making multiples. And it's interesting that it's making multiples because if you don't know, previously in Stable Diffusion, it was an understood thing where if you change the ratio, so you took it outside of a square ratio and you said, like, you know, render a person, like render a lady on a beach or something, it wouldn't be uncommon, or you wouldn't be surprised if it rendered multiple people, or like 1.5 person, where like maybe you'd see one person at the bottom and then the other half at the top of the page. There's a lot with this chandelier, but I do think compositionally this is promising. This is a little better than some of the other ones we've seen. The glitter and gold chairs and what I think are gold napkins. I mean, that is over the top. That is what we asked it for. I guess we can't be mad that it put walls of garland up because we did tell it maximalist. And I'm not mad that it tried a tinsel tree. To me, it seems like the ornament stuff in here might be a little bit more challenging. So maybe we'll try rendering some Christmas trees or something soon. What do you guys think? Should we try that? Going back to our prompt, I have to say, I think Euler A, trying not to be biased because it is my go-to, I think that one probably overall had the best pictures, had the, you know, none of this is like super, super realistic, but it's also not that far off base. I think Euler A had the best. For me, that second set that we did, the DPM 2A, that was probably third for me, which was this one here. And I guess the DPM 2, yeah, I mean, I think this one's a solid second. I think if collectively, if we tweaked, you know, how much we wanted to modify the scale, and we probably improved the prompt up here and gave it maybe more direction or more weight on what is important to us, sure, we could have gotten different results, but they all got the same prompt, the same requests in, and honestly, I think they turned out pretty good. Now, that being said, let me know in the comments which set you think was the best, 1, 2, or 3. I will totally know which ones you mean if you just give me the number. And like I said, if you've got ideas that you want to see how the AI handles, let me know. Put them in the comments down below. I love a good challenge, and we'll give it a go. All right, friends, thanks so much for hanging out with me as we explore a little bit more in Stable Diffusion and how it can be fun for event planners, party planners, wedding designers, interior decor professionals, or anybody really looking for some out-of-the-box ideas for their home. You know, sure, you might not take this picture exactly to your designer and say, hey, remake this exactly for me. But I hope you saw some elements in here that were fun and inspired you. And I might put the best of up on the website so we can save them for later. Okay, until next time, bye friends. Thanks for hanging out.